Okay, everyone, thank you for coming back to the channel. As you may know from a previous video, I was down at my local micro center where I know this has been available for a while. This is the Atari Pong, and this is actually made by Tastemakers, and Tastemakers is the parent company of the well-known Arcade One-Up line. Now, this was 149. I still have the thing right here, 149 for this unit, which I think overall is already overpriced, but we'll take a look at it first. Don't get this out of the way. So you can get this at your Micro Center right now for 149.99. And one of the things you notice right outside the box, you can see kind of right here. And basically what it says is to upgrade to portable use one 18650 lithium battery. Now, for $149, you would think they would include that battery. So that's another thing that kind of bothered me with this. But again, let's take a look at the device first and kind of see what we have. So it comes in a very plain white box with just the Atari branding, Pong, and is that UNIS? I think that's what it says right there. I think it's a company that made it for tastemakers. And again, it's just a very plain box, nothing really to say on it. Again, other than this little decal right here stating, the side right here, this little decal right here stating that if you want to use portable power, you need to add a battery. And there's some things here on the back. Make sure this kind of sent you so you can kind of see it. So the product is a mini Pong. Description: small game console that simulates a ping pong game. I have the model number here, A-448. Material is plastic. Brand is Atari Pong. And we can see the importer is Tastemakers LLC. So I don't know how much involvement they had with designing it, but they're the ones who imported here that was made available at your local micro center. The importer's address, New York. I don't think it's the correct address anymore. They pretty much moved down to Florida. This has been out for over a year before I was able to get my hands on one. The manufacturer's address here, batch number, contact person. It's kind of interesting that they put that kind of detail, the contact person over there. Okay, and there's a phone and an email address. Now, I will say that I've already taken this out of the box and played with it for a little bit, and I did email this company here because the device does allow firmware updates. So I reached out to see if there's any firmware updates because I think people have done that, and they actually show on their website how to do a firmware update, but there's no firmware update on the site. It says email sales. Emailed a couple times, haven't gotten a response. So I'm not sure if I have the latest firmware on here or not. Whatever. So that's really it for the box. Very plain, very simple. We're gonna take this thing out of the box here. I've already taken the tape out off on this side here. Let's get this thing out. Get out. You know how I like to save my boxes. I don't want to ruin it. So in here we have just a foam packaging, which we'll take out here. Okay, we'll put the box nice safely aside over here in the GRS studio. And we kind of see what we get here. So we have our instruction manual right here. And, it's just nothing special. It just looks like, copy paper, nothing special. But at least it does say Pong. It does show a color image here of the unit. And when you open it up right here, just important safety instructions. Okay, what else do we have here? Okay, some basic information on the device. Make sure I'm centering the camera here. So you guys want to maybe take a screenshot of this if you like. But they do include the mini Pong. They do include a charging cable and charger, which is kind of nice. And the manual, great. But here it is right here, right down here. It says here to upgrade portable use one 18650 lithium battery needs to be installed. Battery not included. I think that's kind of stupid for 150 bucks not to include that battery in here and make you have to purchase that separately. I think that's kind of dumb. But it does show you here the specs up here. Power is 5 volts, 3 amps, power consumption 15 watts. And if you're running on, I guess the recharge time, rechargeable battery, how long you would go for with it. I'm not going to harp on that too much, but I do think that's kind of dumb at this price point not to include the battery. And basically, out of the machine, we have our launch button, our paddles, charging port, which is also how you would do your firmware upgrade. If I can ever find, oh, in that case, not. There's actually, I think, USB A on here for that to do that. Okay, that is the sorry, that is USB A. So that is where you would do the firmware upgrade. Your charging ports on this side here, your on off menu, volume. It's just a glass screen. Okay, that'd be kind of nice if it's a glass screen. Internal speaker, get the rubber feet. And on this side, they're showing you the setup instructions over here. Again, showing the battery. Now, if you look right here, it looks like it could take 3 AA batteries. And when I opened this up, I thought, oh, okay, I'll throw in some couple batteries, rechargeable batteries, and go. But you can't. You got to use a special 18650 lithium battery, which again, Very dumb not to include at this price point. I think personally, a game like Pong like this, $100 is probably about it, or something like that. So it's not like crazy over expensive. It's another $50, but I do think it's $50 overpriced out of the gate, and especially not including that battery. And just how to play. I mean, Pong's very simple. You have your paddles, and basically you just don't want the ball to go past you. Um, and we see some game options. So we'll turn this thing on. It's not too much in the manual. I mean, you can always read these things if you want. Here's the company's website. And I did go here again, and they do show how to update the firmware. But there's no firmware on the site, and it says email them, and they don't respond. So that's it. So that's it for our manual. We'll put that aside as well. So far, not a horrible thing, but not a stellar one either so far. Piece of foam protecting supposedly the glass screen. It doesn't feel glass. Maybe it does. I don't know. But over here, let's go on this side here. They did include, which is kind of nice, a USB cable, which they do include pretty much nowadays anyway. But they stopped including these days in a lot of other devices like cell phones and stuff. I get stuff in the box. Oh man, it doesn't want to come out. What the heck did they do there? Ugh. Wow. Just a regular charger, nothing crazy. You can see the prongs here, and the prongs I guess go on the side, which is why I couldn't get it out. That's even more fun to go in. So I have a ton of these, which is why companies don't really include them anymore. There we go. Put it back in there. And I would have a cable already, so I don't need to take that out. We're going to put those right back under there. But when you get the unit for $150, you get a charging adapter. Isn't that nice? Yay. Okay, so we're going to take this thing out here, which is, I am a Pong fan. Anyone knows me. I love Pong. It's a very simple game. I know it's not, like Fortnite or anything, but it's a fun game, especially if you have someone to play with. Now, this you can play alone. There's an AI in here, but Pong is really best played with someone else, see who kind of does better. So we have a nice plastic bag here. We're going to take this out of the bag. Take a look at the unit itself. All right, now at first glance, now this thing looks kind of nice. We have our two spinners here. It looks like it's a little glue, a little quality control here, a little glue. I'll fix that later on there. But the potentiometers, unlike Arcade 1-Up's original forte into spinners, they don't click, which was really dumb of them to do to begin with. But Arcade 1-Up hopefully has been learning a little bit, and there'll be other videos on that. But the potentiometers here feel good. I mean, they're not weighted, and that's actually okay. I mean, we're not going very far across the screen for this, but they do feel nice. The buttons have a nice tactile feel. This is definitely plastic. There's no question it's not glass. Maybe the screen itself is glass. I get that, but this is definitely plastic. The design is really good. Now they do make a $3,000 Pong table, like a huge sit-down table, which this definitely took some, I guess, design cues from, which is not a bad thing. I mean, this thing does look kind of nice. I like the color of it. I like the chrome Atari accent. So that's all kind of nice. Now, if you look on this side right here, look at the top. Here is our USB-A. Now, as far as I know, that's really only used for that firmware update. I don't know what else we could. Maybe I could plug in some Atari paddles. I don't know. Maybe I'll try that at some point. But again, it looks nice. You got the Atari Pong company logo on here, Pong 1972, which is how old Pong is. I look on the bottom here. We can see our reset for the device. We have to reset it for some reason. Our speaker. And here is the battery area. And we get a screwdriver here. I'm just going to open that up to show you guys. I got my screwdriver is right down here. And I'm going to just take this because Glenn doesn't like to scratch anything. So I'll put this just like so. There we go. And we'll open this up here. And this is, I think, one of the dumbest things for this. Again, at this price point, at $150, you should include a battery. Let's see if I can get this open. And it's really not the easiest thing to do. We got some tools. There's always a lot of tools we can use to try and open this thing up. Of course, I'm going to find what I want when I need it. What can we try? We try this. I'm going to be careful because Glenn doesn't like to scratch anything. But let's see if we can get this open. I guess the tolerances here are really, really tight. Here we go. Here we go. Don't fall. Don't fall. There we go. Okay. So you can see inside the compartment here, it looks like you have 3 AA batteries, but you can see they're much larger, I think, than a AA battery. I don't have one readily available. There's no contacts. There's only one spot for a battery right here, and it says right here 18650. Again, I'm gonna say it one last time. Stupid for them not to include that in here at this price point. I think that's kind of ridiculous. Other than that, so right now it has to be plugged in to use. You can't use it on a rechargeable way, which I guess is okay. I mean, I wasn't really expecting to go that way, and I could always use an external power pack for 5 volts if I really wanted to go down that route. But I'll probably will get a battery at some point. But I don't have any 18650 batteries available right now. Say it one more time. Stupid not to include it. Very nice rubber feet down here. Now on the other side of the unit, let's turn this thing around. This is how you will power the device right here. That's your micro USB and on-off menu, volume up and down. Now I will say one thing. Again, at $150, I like Pong, and it was worth for me to get, especially to do the review and just have it for my collection. But there is only Pong on here. And I think this would be a good opportunity to put on Pong, Breakout, two-player Warlords. That's some things I think that should have been on here, but it's not. So in any case, let me get my charging adapter. We'll plug this thing in, and we'll fire this thing up and see how it goes. Okay, I got myself some 5 volts. So we're going to plug this thing in under here. It's just I'm using a regular cell phone adapter, and this is going in the right way. Come on. There we go. They're plugged in right here, and we're going to fire this thing up. And actually, it looks like it's on. I might have it upside down, perhaps. I do. So let's turn this thing around. There we go. That was easy enough to fix. Get it out of the light there. Put it down to the bottom a little bit. There we go. Maybe turn this camera over here a little bit, like so, just to get a little more center for you guys to see. Okay, there is some sound. I'll make sure the volume's turned up. Okay. Now, like I said, I have played this already a little bit, and the one thing I found annoying, and I hope that there was, I'll turn it down a little bit, is that some of these companies just don't get it. If you're going to put these type of stupid sound effects in there, have a way to turn it off. I mean, I can turn the volume off, but then I lose sound effects in the game. But if I do go over here into the menu, gotta go on this side here, beep. The only options you have here are points, volume, and the AI level. So I'm gonna see if I can go back and find it. Can I do also volume? Back. So there's no option here to turn off this ridiculously stupid music, which I have found very annoying. It does distract from it because these music sound effects play throughout the entire game, and Pongs just be boop, 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 or A, be able to turn off the music, or maybe even C, you have a USB port in here, allow you to listen to MP3s and play some arcade sound effects in the background. Again, this nitpicking, I know, but when you have these games, when you have this type of music in here, it's annoying. There's no way to turn it off. Another thing right here, there's a battery indicator saying 100%, right up here, 100%. Well, there's no battery in here, so that's not even true. So again, if I was to unplug this right now, it would just turn off. There's no battery in here, so that also bugged me a little bit. So you have our button here, and right now the game is technically started. And now, again, here's another stupid thing. The numbers are going to be upside down now, right? I had to flip this thing around for the startup logo, but now this is upside down. So we got to flip it back, this way. So again, a little silly and stupid, I know, but it bugs me. So right now the AI is over here. I can hit the launch button, and I will say that the paddle feels nice. And when you're playing Pong, the paddle is very, very smooth. Now listen to the music. You can't turn it off. Ooh, he's getting me pretty good. Let's see who's going to win the game. Who's going to win the game?
Player 1 wins.
I guess the AI wins in that one.
Game over.
So, I mean, the speech was kind of nice. The little confetti was kind of nice. I'm going to turn this volume down. Again, it's annoying. So the paddles were very, very responsive, but it's kind of annoying with one way. When you turn this thing on, the Atari logo is going to be one way, but then when you go to play the game, you got to turn it upside down. It's also annoying. It's still showing 100% on the battery, and that's upside down because for me to see the scores correctly, I'm looking at a battery indicator now. It's upside down, and a battery indicator that shouldn't even be there because there's no battery in it, and it's saying 100%. And there is only one game on here. And again, it's sold as Pong. I get it, but for $150, you could have thrown Breakout in here and a couple of other games on here. Another thing is, for me, I would have preferred these lower and having the screen more like this because when you played Pong in the arcade or on the Atari, your screen would have been, like this, and you had player one here and player two here. So again, it's just, I guess, to look like the tabletop. Overall, is it a bad thing if you like Pong? Not necessarily. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I play it with my son once in a while, and it's kind of fun having the two-player interaction. It is a very simple game. You really have to be into these really simple, Pong games. My problems come into A, showing a battery indicator when there's no battery installed at $150. That's one. Two, the battery indicator is upside down when you're playing the game. I'll launch it again. My score's up here. This battery indicator should be either up here or not there at all. So again, you want to hear these Pong sound effects. I don't want to hear this stupid music. And unfortunately, I can't turn that off in any way, shape, or form. And I'm really showing how bad I'm playing. I'm not really this bad. It always seems to be worse when you're doing a recording. But I do think the game itself's okay. Now, another thing that's bugged me a little bit is the Pong ball is huge in retrospect to the paddles and everything else, which makes it easier to hit. I know I'm not showing that very well, but the ball should have been a lot smaller. But on the LCD, I will say that it's very smooth. There is some ghosting, but that's always to be expected with LCDs. So I would say if you can pick this thing up on sale, $100 or less, I would say it's definitely a fun thing to have. I'm still going to reach out to the company to try and get a firmware, and I've already made suggestions in my emails that there has to be a way to turn off that music and also hide the battery icon and move it so it's not upside. Or if you can keep it where it is, make it so it's not upside down. I'm looking at 100 upside down. So overall, not too bad. I do think at $150, it's really not worth that. I don't. And there's some obviously bad nitpicky things. But if you do like Pong, potentiometers, which is how you interact with it, I think are very, very smooth. I like that. The screen is very crisp, and the design is nice. But having to flip this thing up, turn it upside down to see it when it turns on, I'm gonna do it one more time. Let's just shut it off, see what it does. Okay, technically it's off, I think, at this point. Let me turn it on, see if it goes through the whole process. It did not. I put it in standby, so I'm gonna unplug the power. Now it's definitely off. Now I'm gonna plug it in, and I'll turn it on. And see, my Atari logo is now upside down. So I got to go, maybe I'm supposed to put it the other way. Let's see. Oh yeah, I got to put it this way. There we go. All right. Here we go. I'm going to play me some Pong. Starting up. And we get the nice big logo, which is nice. You want to see it that way. And we wait a little bit more. And we start a game. We see a battery is up here. Okay, this has to be because the battery number is right that way. Let's launch the game. What? No, I got to flip this whole thing around because that score is going to be upside down otherwise. And now everything else is upside down. Whoop. See if I can at least win one game. Oh, I did a two-player. Look at this. So I could do it this way. See who wins, Glenn or Glenn. So I'll just get my final thoughts right now because it's Pong. What else is there more to say? Overall, I do like it, and I do thank Tastemakers for importing this. Um, it's got some nice things about it. The potentiometers, the controls are nice. The screen is nice, but there's more negatives on this to me than positive. One is the price. Two is not being able to turn off the stupid music in the background. Three is you have to flip the machine upside down, left and right, every way, shape, and form. It should be set one way. You get your Atari logo, score everything the right way. Those things are bugging me. Um, the not having a way to, I guess, get an updated firmware from the organization from the company after just 1 year is not such a good thing. But again, if you get it on sale, it'd be a nice thing to add to your collection. That's all I have to say anymore. I'm going to keep rambling about the stupid battery and it being upside down and stuff. So I'm going to stop right now. Overall, it's a nice thing. Just get it on sale, and I'll leave it at that. I want to thank you all for watching. Remember, no matter what you do or how you do it, tell your family and friends that you love them. Spend time with them. But other times, remember to game on.
At the Tiny Arcade fan page. Remember, don't admire people too much. They'll disappoint you.
Sit, Blue, sit. Good dog.